Hey Judy, are you enjoying the animals?
Oh, it's a lot of fun, but it's getting a little wild.
You know what else is a little wild?
Huh.
There's a new hour-long garden time.
Welcome to Garden Time. We're at Bauman's Farm and Garden, who is hosting the new GardenPalooza next week.
Not only can you come out and get some great new plants, you can visit with these guys.
And speaking of GardenPalooza, later in the show I'll be talking with Brian Bauman about what's happening out at GardenPalooza on April 9th.
We'll also be talking about native pollinators.
We'll also be giving you some tips on houseplants.
But coming up first, some great plants you'll find out here at GardenPalooza.
I'm at N&M Herb Nursery with Rosie. And Rosie, you're going to be at GardenPalooza next week, and so you just need to tell us all the things you're going to have so we can come and buy plants.
Well, we're going to have a lot of different things. We'll have all our originals, all the herbs and tropicals and whatnot, but the last couple of years I've really got into all the pollinators.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to see a little bit of today.
Excellent. So
Yes.
this is so pretty with that orange and white flower.
And that's a cupia, and it's the cigar plant, and of course the hummingbirds just adore it. And
What kind of light's going to take though?
full sun.
Full sun.
Yeah,
Okay.
and what I tell people generally that full sun, if you give it 5 hours of sun, that's equals to full sun.
All right. Okay. That's good to know. And then this one doesn't have a flower on it, but look at what it becomes when it's bigger.
And that is one of my favorites because from this little guy, it will get bigger than that and have dozens and dozens of blooms. It's nocturnally fragrant, beautiful, and the coloring, and I know a lot of my customers that are repetitive love it, buy it every year.
And then what's the secret to get it so big?
My secret is always consistent fertilizing. We fertilize once a week. I highly recommend everybody fertilizes once a week, especially if plants are grown in a pot.
Okay. Perfect. Well, you got it from Rosie. And then lavender, what a great one for butterflies.
Butterflies and the hummingbirds adore this
Oh.
variety too, and the bees. So it's the
Nice.
3 bees
All
that
right.
get attracted to this, and that's what we focus on is the bees, butterflies, and birds. Hummingbirds,
Hummingbirds.
go in
Aw.
there, yeah.
And fuchsias, of course.
Yeah,
You
this
have
is
to
a
have
black
fuchsias.
cherry. It's been,
Look how
it's just
pretty.
gorgeous, and it looks like a little black cherry. Hummingbirds, another pollinator.
Nice, nice. So those flowers are so beautiful in the fuchsia, but what is this huge one right here?
This is I call them a hummingbird buffet, and it's 7 different salvias in here, like a rainbow of color to attract the hummingbirds, and full sun, blooms until frost.
So, and fertilize it again?
Yes, everything in a pot. Loves,
Excellent.
yeah, to keep it blooming all summer.
Nice. And then what's this one? That is so unique.
This is one of our favorites. This is a flowering maple, the red tiger, and it grows fast. It blooms until frost, and you know, I think
so
everybody's
unique.
favorite plant.
It's so unique. I mean, it looks like little umbrellas or just like
yeah, very tropical.
So pretty.
Yes.
Pretty, pretty. And then what's that on the far right?
This is royal purple ichroma. That's another excellent pollinator. It's like a hardy fuchsia. It'll die down, then come back and grow 4 to 6 feet in one season.
Wow.
And bloom nonstop.
And what kind of light does that one take?
Full sun.
Full sun.
Yep. Pretty
Nice.
much everything over here would require sun.
Yeah, and just keep it wet. Keep it
Yes,
moist.
yes,
Perfect.
yes.
And then, you know, I think we all do kind of containers. So you have some little grasses that would be great for containers.
This I wanted to show. This is the king tut and the baby tut.
Oh.
And so it's everybody's favorite, and we will have it at GardenPalooza, and that's why I brought them over here.
I love the texture. It's really
Yes.
so pretty. What else you got?
Oh, this gunnera. This,
Neat.
stunning, stunning. If you're not familiar with it, also known as dinosaur food, in like by the 3rd year, they can get up to 5 feet. Quite incredible.
Yeah, they're really something to see. And then you have to talk about this purple one. What is that?
This is heliotrope. That is an absolute butterfly magnet and very fragrant, blooms all summer long.
I can smell it right now. It's
Yes,
really
really,
beautiful.
yes.
Very
So-
nice. And Rosie, the best for last, what is this one down here?
This is the gold nugget. It has been on the market for a couple of years, and it's absolutely darling because starting late fall and all through winter, it just gets this beautiful coloring in it with the oranges and the yellows
And so easy care.
oh,
for the
very
hens and
easy.
chicks.
It's a hardy variety. You know, put it in a pot in the garden.
It's nice, yeah,
Yes.
very pretty. And you know, if we can't get out to GardenPalooza, but everybody's coming, where else can we find you and all your beautiful plants?
Right here at my greenhouse in Hubbard, Oregon.
Ah, right. And you know, you can find that information, just go to gardentime.tv, you can click over to her website, but really come out and see Rosie next week at GardenPalooza on April 9th. Thanks so much, Rosie.
Thank you.
Welcome to Blooming Junction, where it's easy to connect with nature. At Blooming Junction, you'll find beautiful, healthy plants, good, fresh food, and a place to regain peace and calm in your life. We have an unsurpassed collection of unique and distinctive plants and the expertise to help any gardener be successful. And we feature Blooming Advantage plants. Come check out Blooming Junction for an inspiring experience in the garden or in the kitchen. Blooming Junction, offering quality plants for beautiful gardens.
The Wooden Shoe Tulip Festival is on! Enjoy 40 acres of blooming tulips bursting in color, food, crafts, kids' activities, and so much more. Online ticketing only at woodenshoe.com. The 38th Annual Wooden Shoe Tulip Festival, now through May 1st.
At Sagawa Nursery, we always talk about taking your garden from ordinary to extraordinary. For us, that means bringing you the newest and best plants and unique garden items to you, our customer. For you, that means we'll help you transform your garden into something that's extraordinary. We also have some great gift items and even a few surprises for inside your home too. Sagawa Nursery, growing beyond the ordinary.
DRAM is celebrating 75 years of design and manufacturing of quality watering tools. DRAM products feature 9 water patterns and are designed to nurture your plants with a shower of rain. DRAM for lawn and garden, available at garden centers near you.
GardenPalooza is back. Join us on April 9th at our new location at Bauman's Farm and Garden. See over 30 plant growers and garden vendors. There's free parking and free admission. GardenPalooza, Saturday, April 9th at Bauman's Farm and Garden in Woodburn.
Many of us have ferns in our gardens, maybe not as many as at Seabright Gardens. I'm with Thomas. And so, but Thomas, sometimes we want to divide them, and so you're going to show us how to do that today.
Yeah, we thought we'd choose this this fern here. It's a nice evergreen fern from Chile called Blechnum chilense. And so I thought we'd start by just take the shovel.
Okay.
And we can dig out a chunk of it here.
I don't think I've ever seen a fern this tall other than sword fern. This thing is just massive.
We thought we'd go right from the very beginning so people could see how we're doing this whole thing.
So dig the roots first.
Yep, dig under the roots. Sometimes you've got to kind of get it going with a little bit with the shovel to see.
And then take a knife.
And then take a knife, see where it's attached, and cut. And then
so
just keep pulling.
You really look for natural divisions. You're not really going through a crown.
I really do. I like to try and look where it naturally wants to pull apart easily so you don't damage the plant. But now this is an evergreen fern, so we've left the foliage all winter. The evergreen ferns like to have their foliage all winter, even if they get frozen or burnt if we've had a cold winter. It's important to leave the foliage on these until the new growth is getting ready to start coming, otherwise they really resent that.
Oh, okay.
So now that we've got this, now we're into March, so it's all right to take off the old foliage. So to make it easier to divide, we'll go ahead and we'll cut off the.
You can kind of see where you're going then.
Exactly. So we can actually get down to the nitty-gritty of it all.
And maybe see some fiddleheads there.
Yeah, exactly.
So just keep shaking and kind of wiggling.
And wiggling, and you can just find the weak spots and just keep kind of twist it back and forth.
Okay.
Like this, and just keep turning.
Yeah, you could hear it crack.
Yeah, you can hear it crack and snap. And you can see all the new growth points. You see they're just getting ready to start to come, so this is a really good time to do it.
So you think you're going to go 2 or 3?
I'll probably can do 3 here.
Wow.
I'm going to be greedy and take as many as I can on this one.
Oh, but it's just, look at that.
Yeah.
You've made it so easy because you think that, oh, I'm going to sacrifice something, but you don't have to.
You don't have to sacrifice anything. No, just pull from the bottom, grab a hold of the roots and just keep pulling. And see, we've got three nice divisions there. And this piece here probably, this is a little bit of a, it runs a little bit, but this here we can probably plant and it will grow too. See the shoots starting to come up there.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, they're actually quite easy to plant.
And then where should we site it when we're going to plant it back?
Okay, this Blechnum chilense, it gets sun probably in the morning and a little bit of early afternoon sun.
Oh, wow.
A lot of the ferns can actually take a lot more sun than you think, provided they're kept moist. And
Nice.
this one here does very well. It likes the warmer weather, so you can get as much sun as you can without the hottest afternoon sun. It would be perfect.
Nice, nice. And then do you add something into the planting holes, or what do you do?
Ferns always like really nice humus-rich soil because they grow in the forest, and so compost added to the soil is really good. And anything you can do to make the soil, you see the soil here is very
beautiful.
nice.
Yeah,
it's really fluffy.
Nice.
If you can somehow replicate this as much as you can in your garden, that's perfect.
And at the nursery at Seabright Gardens, how many ferns do you think you have here?
Oh, we grow about 100 different hardy garden ferns for this area.
Wow.
So we've got a big selection of ferns. So, yeah.
And so we can come out to the garden or go online?
You can, yes. Go to seabrightgardens.com, or you can come to the garden. We're open 10 to 5 every day starting March 28th.
Oh, wow.
So.
And it really is a treat to come out here. They have beautiful display gardens and so many other plants, not just ferns, to choose from. So please go to GardenTime.tv and we'll click you over to their website and you can come out to Seabright Gardens. Thomas, thanks so much.
Thanks, Judy.
We're down here at French Prairie Gardens. I'm with Katie, and Katie, it's springtime and you have an event coming up.
We do. We have our Ladies' Day event coming up next weekend on Saturday and Sunday, 2 times for each of those events.
And I always do like me a ladies event. I got to say that. But so what are you going to be doing at the ladies event?
Well, we're going to be teaching everyone how to make a beautiful hanging basket or a planter. So you can either pick your size, the 12-inch, which is the size, or a big 16-inch. Or if you want to bring in your own planter, we can kind of customize that as well.
Excellent. And this is a pre-registered event, correct?
It is. That way we have all the supplies, all the staff ready for you, tables, everything set.
Gotcha. And so where do they need to go to know to
They can
register?
go to our website, so fpgardens.com.
Okay. And then when they come down here, what kind of fun things do they get to do?
We'll show them how to put together a hanging basket. So we'll look at all the different things to put in the center, on the sides, color combinations, whether it's sun or shade, and get to really personalize that. Myself and my sister Stacy will be there to help you every step of the way. Bring some gloves. You get to plant it, leave it here. We'll grow it out for you.
Oh, that's a great service. 'Cause,
Yeah.
sometimes you get to have the greenhouse space to grow it on.
Oh, yeah.
And there are some really pretty plants in there that I don't recognize. You have some new goodies.
Oh yeah, we always have new goodies. So some of our favorites, and this is probably my favorite petunia. It's a crazy tunia, cosmic purple, huge blooms, great color. We have those in 4-inch as well as in a bunch of our basket combinations.
Nice.
We do also have some shade options as well. So we have some coleus in our shade, some Lismachia, potato vine, lots of fun things. And then one of the stunners, if you want more of an upright salvia, the skyscraper salvias are great, hardier than most, and we have a lot of them.
I love the salvias, and the hummingbird.
Hummingbirds love them,
right?
yes, and we actually do have a salvia that hangs and trails as well. That'll be coming out next weekend as well. So it's called the hummingbird salvia.
So it's a great time to come down here and get your basket started.
Yep.
Let you grow them on.
Yep.
And there's also going to be food and drink, right?
There is. So after or during, you can enjoy a cider or beer, a glass of wine, and then we'll have lots of goodies. So salads, baked goods, some sandwiches, things like that. So bring the ladies and come on and enjoy the day.
Right. And the greenhouses are filling up, and they're it's looking spring, and it's looking.
Oh yeah. So we have over 3,000 baskets planted up for people to come and enjoy and look at. So.
Which is great, and you can register online. You come down to the event, create your own basket, create your own combination, take some home with you, leave your basket behind to grow out.
Yes.
Enjoy some food, enjoy some beverage. So make sure you go to French Prairie's website to register for the event, or you can go to GardenTime.tv and get registered. So Katie, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun event.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Garden Time is brought to you by Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, a nursery for plant people.
Hi, I'm Sarah with Portland Nursery, where our passion for plants has kept us rooted in this incredible community. A lot has changed since we first opened our doors. But through it all, we've remained family-owned and operated, dedicated to providing our neighbors the largest selection of the highest quality plants Portland has to offer. With hundreds of new plants arriving each week, you're guaranteed to find something exciting and unique. Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, at 50th and Stark, 90th and Division.
For over 100 years, Collier Arbor Care and Bartlett Tree Experts have provided tree and shrub care services to the Portland metropolitan area.
From large tree and small shrub pruning, tree removal, and stump grinding, we can handle all your tree care needs.
Our arborists diagnose and treat your toughest insect and disease problems.
We also have organic solutions for growing and maintaining healthy gardens, as well as organic nutrition for your trees and shrubs.
Collier and Bartlett, environmentally friendly since 1907.
DRAM is celebrating 75 years of design and manufacturing of quality watering tools. DRAM products feature 9 water patterns and are designed to nurture your plants with a shower of rain. DRAM for lawn and garden, available at garden centers near you.
No matter what shade your green thumb is, you can find the plants and the help you need at Wavra Farms. We're filled with an astounding array of colorful plants to fill your garden. In addition to wonderful annuals and perennials, we are known for our hanging baskets. We also have all your garden essentials, and we have great garden gifts too. From beginner to expert, you'll find something new and different with every visit. Wavra Farms, located off Highway 22, Exit 5, east of Salem.
I'm out here at Portland Nursery on Stark Street. I'm with Sarah. Sarah, we're coming out of winter. It's springtime. It's a beautiful day. Now's the time to start thinking about natives in our yard.
It is. We've seen such an increase in people expanding their backyard certification from the Portland Audubon Society, and it's so great. Natives are such a great thing to be planting because they not only are good for the environment, take less water, all of that, but for the native pollinators that we have here, which are, as most people know, very important and in need of a little bit of our help.
That's right. You talk about those natives. There's so many benefits to them that, for a landscape, and you talk about pollinators being one of those. So why is it important to have these pollinators in our yards?
Yeah, well, pollinators in general are just really important because they pollinate all of our food. So we as humans really rely greatly on pollinators to do their job, to keep us fed. And pollinators are in somewhat of a crisis, a lot of pollinators are, and they really need that additional food source. They need us to provide these plants that give them pretty much everything that they need regarding food, habitat, protection from winter elements and sun and all of the things. So if you are going for a backyard certification, adding some help to the pollinators is great, and you might be adding some that are just beautiful that you didn't even realize are also great for pollinators.
Because you've picked out some here, and some of these plants, and we'll go through these, but they have some really great blooms.
Oh yeah, I mean this one right here, Ribes sanguineum, is actually one of my all-time favorite plants in general. Not to mention it's native, good for pollinators, right. All of those things. It's going to attract hummingbirds, which everyone loves to see hummingbirds attracted to their yard as well. And the blooms on them are just so glorious. I mean, they're show-stopping. They come pretty early in the spring, which is always nice because we're just craving blooms at that point. But they remind me of just kind of like a bunch of grapes. I don't know, I get kind of almost like a Roman like feel when I look at them. Right. Like they're just such an elegant, gorgeous plant. And so I've got this in my yard and I love it.
Because some people think of natives and think of these kind of real rangy, not real attractive, which there are some of those. But like you said, the ribes is actually an attractive shrub in your yard.
Definitely. And I mean, if you aren't going for the certification, you can always be mixing in, other plants as well and using them as ornament. And then you're still adding some of the benefits of natives, without necessarily going through all the work of the certification. But yes, it's a gorgeous one. Another one that we really love is the native columbine. This is it here.
Doesn't look like much this time of year. But.
We promise that there's something in that pot. So, they go dormant in the winter. Right. And They have quite an unusual bloom that does catch a lot of attention because it is gorgeous and different, just the way that I don't even know how to really describe, almost like a rocket ship or something, I don't know.
And because there's lots of different, it brings up a good point, because there's lots of different varieties of columbines that you'll see out on the market. This one is the actual native one.
Mm-hmm.
So Sarah, obviously the columbine doesn't look like much this year, but it has a lot of promise for later.
Yes.
But there are some that do have some year-round interest.
Yeah, so we've got here the tall Oregon grape, Mahonia aquifolium, and as you can see, it keeps its leaves year-round. I'm not the biggest fan of how it looks, but you know, when it gets to the fall and you've got some of the gorgeous fall color and some of the really bright colored flowers, that is when it does stand out, and a lot of people really, really, really do love it. Yeah. So. Yeah, and then we also have, so as far as natives go, yeah, there are some that aren't as showy, but there are just a ton that are very beautiful as well. And so one of my favorites, we don't have in at this moment, but the native lupin. And I mean, just the Oregon landscape in general is gorgeous, and there's just so many options to work with.
But you do a lot of seeds for a lot of these varieties.
Yeah, and we just started carrying this seed line, which I am just really, really impressed with, called Willamette Wildlings. And so we've got here lupin seed. We will carry the native lupin as well a little bit later in the year. But they've also got these mixes. So like this one here is a specific meadow wildflower native mix for people who have deer that come along. Yeah. So they're thinking about people that are going to have the deer coming and munching on all their little baby plants. So that's a great option. We've also got this like butterfly knee-high wildflower mix. So there's a ton of seeds in there. We're really lucky to have this brand with us. You know, grown here in Oregon, native. So.
And you have this big native section here at the nursery, and like you're talking about, some of this stuff is not in yet. So, so there's probably you need to check back.
Yeah, and that's one of the beautiful things about a garden. As someone who sells plants, we usually tend to bring those things in when they are in bloom so people can see what they're looking like. And so the beauty of coming and visiting multiple times is that if you're buying things that are in bloom as you're visiting, you're going to have this succession in your garden as well, where you've got the year-round interest and something always blooming. Yeah. So yes, we are definitely going to be expanding as the weather gets nicer, and we're so lucky to have a gorgeous day today.
Yeah. And you guys have lots of information on your website as far as if you're looking for natives. And you can always come out here to the Stark Street store or over to the Division store and talk to any of your knowledgeable staff about natives. So
yes.
Sarah, it's been great being out here. Thanks for a little education on the natives, and we're looking forward to getting in our garden and planting.
Thank you.
So
I am so excited to be at Bauman's Farm and Garden with Brian Bauman, and so next week is GardenPalooza, and it's going to be here. And so Brian, it's going to be the same GardenPalooza, but the Bauman twist.
Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how excited we are. Customers have been coming in all week, the last couple weeks. Oh my gosh, GardenPalooza is going to be here, and to me, it's going to have kind of a Saturday market feel.
Oh, neat.
There's going to be a long boulevard with booths on either side, booths in the middle, so you can just really stroll with your family, hang out, see all those familiar faces that you would expect at GardenPalooza.
Sure.
That, I mean, honestly, even as a vendor, we love to see each other. It's a great
chance
to all hang out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Brian, it's not just for the plant people or whatever, they love coming to GardenPalooza. It has all the family things here.
And I think that's one of the things that we've always tried to do at Bauman's, something we're excited about. I mean, you're going to be right next to the animal barn. The goats will be kind of like peeking over the tent, like, come see me, what's going on. The chickens and the geese and the bunny rabbits, all those will be here for all the little family members to enjoy.
Sure.
And for the few of us that are maybe a little bit older, like over 21, our hard cider company is right at the end of the boulevard. So you can see where we make the hard cider. We'll have staff there to answer questions, maybe give a little bit of tour, and maybe or may not try a sample or two or a glass.
Right.
All that will be here.
Yeah, and the bakery's here, or ice cream, or there's other food stuffs here. So really, it's a whole day. It's from 8 to 3. And then also, you always have special things to show us, all special plans for Bauman Farm. So what do you got this year?
I can barely keep it in. I'm so excited. This is brand new this year.
Oh, look at
I mean,
that.
look at all the blossoms. So this is a brand new salvia. To me, it really reminds me kind of the traditional black and blue salvia, but it has a little more purplish tinge. It's called Hummingbird Falls.
Wow.
And I mean, it's not exactly like cascading over the sides. I think of it more kind of like a mounding habit to it. But I mean, it's probably got 50 buds on it already. I hadn't even seen this until the spring. We started growing it. We've been growing it, and I'm like, this is perfect.
It is.
This is exactly what I want for GardenPalooza. So this will be the first chance you have to get it.
Oh, excellent. And it'll be nice. It'll be up in the rafters. It'll be right at hummingbird level.
Yeah, it's almost like a live hummingbird feeder. Everyone always asks me, what plant do you put in your garden for hummingbirds? And salvia is hands down.
Exactly.
They're like fighting over it. They're so
true.
excited.
It is true. It is true. Well, you know, next week, the 9th, is GardenPalooza at Bauman's Farm and Garden. So you have to come out, see everything from Bauman's, but then all of our favorites that are here every year at GardenPalooza. Brian, so excited.
I am so excited.
Garden Time is brought to you by Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway.
Start your new Subaru story at Capital Subaru. We are like nothing else. From the moment you step through these doors, you see it, you feel it. We do things differently here. Our people, our culture, our customer experience. Tell us what you're looking for and we'll upgrade the way you shop for Subarus. When you're just browsing, need great service, or starting your next adventure, we're always here for you. It's your story at Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway.
Come to where the color is. Come to Egan Gardens. We've worked hard growing healthy plants for you so that your gardening is easy. Add sparkle to your garden with our perennials, container plants, and skillfully designed baskets and planters.
Stop and get a mood lifter out here on the farm. We have lots of fresh air and lots of space. There's lots of blooming plants, new vegetable starts, shrubs, and berry bushes.
Egan Gardens, where it's all about the plants. We're located west of I-5 at exit 263 on River Road.
Celebrate family and make new memories. The Wooden Shoe Tulip Festival is on. Food, crafts, kids' activities, millions of blooming tulips. Online ticketing only at woodenshoe.com. The 38th Annual Wooden Shoe Tulip Festival, now through May 1st.
There's nothing more inviting than a garden full of beautiful clematis. And your chance to see the Queen of Vines is at the Rogerson Clematis Garden at Lusher Farm. This spring there are lots of places to pick up a new clematis. Visit us at Hortlandia on the 2nd or at GardenPalooza on the 9th. Our sales terrace also opens on April 9th. Every garden deserves to have a clematis. To learn more about the garden and all of its many activities, go to rogersonclematiscollection.org.
Kick off the spring right at the Ladies' Days at French Prairie Gardens. Enjoy local craft brews, cider, and baked treats and learn about new plants for the coming year. Register to join this basket planting party. Experience the best the country has to offer at French Prairie Garden.
If you have been visiting your independent garden center, you may have seen seed potatoes. So it is the time to plant potatoes for production this year. So I have in my hands 2 potatoes. One is a seed potato that you can see with these little sprouts. The other one is the potato that I bought at the grocery store. Now this one probably has been treated with something to prevent sprouting because you want to eat this. If you do see an organic potato, you can try to use that to plant for production this year. But the best bet is to get seed potatoes. So this potato, 24 hours ago, I cut it apart just so that the cuts are all sealed off, they're all healed, and you could see that it's already starting to sprout, and this is what they call eyes. And I could actually cut this seed potato one more time, so then I have 2 eyes and then 1 eye on this. You need a start that has actually you have to have at least 1 eye. And so then you're ready to plant, and that's the next step that Ryan is going to do.
So now that we have our potatoes and they've been cut and sealed for over a day, we find the little eyes. We'll dig our hole down into our soil. We're using these in a raised bed. And so we'll dig out our hole. We'll plant our potato down there. We usually like to have the eyes that are facing up. And once they're in there, we'll just kind of cover this up. And then we'll work and go from hole to hole. There's a couple different methods that people will do. Some people with like a raised bed like this, we'll just plant them directly in the bed. Other people like to kind of layer them. So some people say once the plant comes up and starts to grow, you can put another layer of mulch or soil on top of that and keep building it up and have multi-layers of potatoes. You might get a bigger bounty, but for our purposes, we can only go so deep in our raised bed, which is just perfectly fine. So once we'll go through, we'll keep dropping our potatoes in the holes, like this. And then we'll continue on. We've used this bed for potatoes in the past, and you can already see that the potatoes are already starting to come up. And these were pieces that we forgot to harvest or were left in the ground all winter. These will be perfectly fine for this year. So once we're all done, we'll start to be able to harvest this summertime. And usually, harvest time is, after the foliage has come up, it'll go to flower. And once that flowering's done, you can start to harvest then, or you can wait till all the foliage has died down and then dig the entire bed up. And then you'll have your potatoes for the rest of the summer and into the fall.
The springtime is all about planting, and today we have a demonstration on how to plant a tree.
The first thing we want to look at is making sure our hole is properly dug. So we'll take a look at the root ball. In this case, we have a bare root tree, but it'll also be the same principles if we're planting a potted rooted tree. So we want to make sure our hole is prepped. We want to dig it wider, and we want to dig it a little bit deeper. So for this case, we're going to dig this out a little bit more and kind of get the hole the size that we want it. And then we want to make sure, after we got the hot soil a little bit deeper and wider, we want to mix in a good all-purpose planting mix. We like the black gold planting mix, and what we'll do is we'll dump that in and kind of mix it 50-50 with the native soils that we're digging out. And once we have our soils all prepped, we'll use a little bit of the Espoma. This is an organic, good fertilizer to get the roots started.
While Ryan is finishing up opening up this hole, I'm going to tell you about the proper way to plant a tree. So this one is actually a bare root fruit tree, and I'm going to show you the roots here. And so this time of year you can get bare root, and later on in the season they're already going to be growing in a container, but really the tips are all the same. So this is the graft right here, and so we want to have that above ground. You don't want to bury that. You want to have the top of the soil about right here. And the same thing happens with if it's a container plant. Whatever that level of the soil in the container, that's what you want to have at level here in the garden. You don't want to bury it all the way up here. You might think that's a good idea, but it will actually rot the plant. You'll rot all this bark and you'll kill the tree.
Now that we have our hole prepped and ready, we have our good soil mixed in there, we have our starter fertilizer mixed in, now we're going to place our tree in the hole and kind of check the height of the tree to make sure we're at the right depth. And so Judy's kind of got it laid out here, so we make sure it's not planted too deep. So now that we have it in the hole, we're going to either use our shovel or hands. This is all mixed in soil. We're just kind of move this in, kind of pack this around the hole. We want to make sure that it's getting all the way down and around so we don't have any air pockets in there, because we don't want those little roots to dry out. So we want to make sure that the soil is all the way down.
And just make sure that your graft is above ground here. That's that bump right there. And we're just gently pressing down the soil. Don't tamp it down too heavy because you're really going to compress all that air pockets. And so really make a little nice little home for this plant.
So now that we have it all planted, we want to make sure that we water it in real well. Even though it's raining out, that water really needs to get down. Those roots are about a foot down. So we'll take our hose and we really want to soak this and make sure that water is going all the way down to the bottom, because this also will help settle the soil down and get around those roots. Watch out there, Judy. Don't want to get you all wet, but let it soak in. After it's soaked in, we'll let it sit a minute and then we'll repeat. Make sure that water gets all the way down, because we don't want it just to run off the top like that.
So the key here is in the next few weeks to make sure that this tree is kept nice and moist, because you want it to be successful. You want to have a great tree this summer. We're really hoping that this demonstration will help you have great trees this year.
Since 1982, the Wall has been making local gardens beautiful, naturally. Whether you need a new wall, concrete patio, fire pit, or driveway, the Wall's expert craftsmen can build it. We back up our work with a 5-year warranty, so you'll know it'll last. We use the highest quality materials, including stamped colored concrete, natural stone, and we're the leader in using recycled concrete. Create an outdoor environment you'll enjoy for years with the help of your friends at The Wall.
Find everything you need for spring at Al's Garden and Home.
Create a beautiful living space both inside and out with the help of Terra Casa.
Outside, you'll find pottery, fountains, and decor to make your garden unforgettable.
And inside, there are home furnishings and just the right accents to make your home warm, inviting, and most importantly, comfortable.
Terra Casa has a huge selection of merchandise to fit any home or budget. Plus, we still have all the unique and distinctive gifts that you have come to expect from Terra Casa.
Terra Casa in downtown Damascus.
Join Garden Time as we hit the road again. In September of 2022, we'll travel to Holland and Belgium. We'll visit the world-famous Aalsmeer flower auction, Flora World, the University Gardens of Ghent, and the Japanese Gardens of The Hague. We'll also visit the once-a-decade Floriade Expo, the World's Fair of Gardening. Enjoy the sights, sounds, and tastes of Ghent, The Hague, and Amsterdam on this wonderful tour. Go to Garden Time Tours for more information, and we'll see you in Europe.
Kick off the spring right at the Ladies' Days at French Prairie Gardens. Enjoy local craft brews, cider, and baked treats and learn about new plants for the coming year. Register to join this basket planting party. Experience the best the country has to offer at French Prairie Garden.
I'm out here at Al's at Sherwood. I'm with Carla. Carla's from Espoma Company.
I am.
And Carla, you know, it's getting to be springtime. A lot of us are doing a lot of spring cleaning, and a lot of us are new to houseplants. And those two actually can kind of go hand in hand this time of year.
Absolutely. When we think about spring cleaning our house, we're talking about spring cleaning outside in our garden. We also want to think about spring cleaning for our plants.
You know, a lot of us, you know, we've recently picked up plants in, you know, the last couple of years. We're new to this. But there's some maintenance that we need to do to our houseplants this time of year, and this is a great time to do that. So what are some things we need to be doing to our houseplants?
Well, the first thing I would say is, again, you know, we all are a huge fan of dusting our house. So, you know, grab a damp cloth, some mild dish detergent even, make sure it's just the littlest bit, and start wiping down your leaves. You know, your plants, are, you know, they're taking in oxygen, they're transpiring, so you need to make sure they're nice and clean. And at the same time, it's the perfect time to like check for insects, you know,
right.
mites and scale and, you know, all the things that could have been happening during those winter months where it's dark.
Right. And so, you know, and transplanting those, you know, we'll get into, you guys have some great whole line of products for that.
Absolutely.
But, you know, we'll get into, you know, transplanting or repotting those plants up. Now is the time of year to be doing that. Yeah,
and, you know, I always choose water day. Watering day is when your soil is dry. You don't have to worry about your whole plant, you know, disturbing many roots. And that's when you're going to pull it out. You're going to upsize about 2 inches. And the reason being you want to put enough fresh soil in there, but not too much. And so your plant doesn't get waterlogged over time. So again, about 2 inches sized up on your pots.
And it's important, you know, talking about the soils.
Absolutely.
Soil is important. It's not just go use whatever you want or dig something out of the garden.
Right.
So, you know, tell us a little bit about the Espoma, you know, indoor potting soil.
Yeah, so we produce a premium line of potting soils for really whichever plant, so indoor plants, cactus, African violets, and even orchids. We add endo and ectomycorrhiza to our potting soils, and that's really so when you are transplanting, you know, you're reducing your transplant shock, but at the same time, you're building new roots that can accept water and nutrients, and you're building them faster. So again, you're lessening that transplant shock that's going in. Right. But we're also adding things like yucca that hold moisture, feather meal, kelp meal, earthworm castings. Again, just premium ingredients to make sure your plant is off to the best start it can be when you're, you know, when you're disturbing it.
Right.
So,
you know, because the transplant is very important.
Absolutely.
To keep that plant going.
Yes. Yep, for sure.
You know, and then once we have, you know, we're into more of the maintaining mode. there are some things that we need to use as our houseplants are growing.
Yeah.
You know, now that we have them clean, we have them in a new pot.
Yep.
But there is some maintenance. So tell us some about some of the products.
Yep, and again, we transplanted on watering day.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna go in and we're gonna water, and we're gonna water in with some fertilizer. So I think when people are choosing their fertilizers, they're looking at the numbers on the package. And when you pull up, you know, our indoor fertilizer, it's a 222. But what you really need to look at on this package, because we're the only one that does it, is there is a huge bacteria package on here. And I think in people's brains, they think of bacteria as a bad thing. Well, we're talking about beneficial bacteria that's in this bottle.
Right.
125 million CFU. That's a huge family that's, you know, ready to fertilize your plants. So we have two groups of little guys that are working in here. We have a growth group of bacteria, and then we have a solubilizing phosphate group. So what that's going to do is it's going to go in and get the locked up phosphates in your soil, and it's going to help solubilize those and release those to the plant. So you're getting a whole extra feed, because as we know, as we water over the season, all of our nutrients are going where?
Right out the bottom.
Right out the bottom of the pot. So we need to replace that, you know, replace that beneficial bacteria, that whole soil system that's in there. And that's what that bacteria is doing. So I look at this and go, yep, you're getting a great 222 fertilizer, but you're getting like a just whammy of bacillus that's in this guy.
Right.
And again, that's really the game changer, as I call it. So I really call it, technical term here, rejudging your soil. So again, you're feeding it with a great organic fertilizer, but you're also going in and rebuilding your soil. So,
You know, so it's, you know, some great tips, Carla. So, you know, if you're looking, you know, your spring cleaning, you know, we're all in our yards, we're in our house, and we're moving our plants in and around. So it's important to make sure that our plants are healthy and we're taking care of them.
Absolutely.
So make sure you come down to Al's down here at Sherwood or any of their other stores, and, you know, look for the Espoma products there. It's a great product, and your plants will be super happy that you have it.
If you're looking for the highest quality plants to take your garden to the next level, look no further than M&M Herb Nursery. Rosie and her staff grow huge, beautiful plants, including all your favorites. We also have some cool tropical plants that can transform your garden into a paradise. We have a large selection of pollinator plants, especially for hummingbirds, plus specialty perennials, baskets, pots, and yes, even herbs. Come see all of our great plants at M&M Herb Nursery in Hubbard.
For 90 years, Espoma has one guiding principle: develop the finest organic gardening products that work in harmony with nature, grow beautiful gardens, and make a greener world for the future. From our soil products to our plant foods, we have always been committed to the environment and sustainability. We use a vast array of natural and organic ingredients and package them in our 100% solar-powered plant. Look for the quality line of Espoma products at your local independent garden center. Espoma, organic from the beginning.
GardenPalooza is back. Join us on April 9th at our new location at Bauman's Farm and Garden. See over 30 plant growers and garden vendors. There's free parking and free admission. GardenPalooza, Saturday, April 9th at Bauman's Farm and Garden in Woodburn.
Garland Nursery, a must-stop destination for those that want to play with plants and grow with their garden. Whether you are a new or a seasoned gardener, Garland Nursery can help fulfill your gardening desires and your landscape needs. From organic veggies, trees and shrubs, to colorful blooms, from the newest trends in garden supplies and garden decor. Shop Garland Nursery to find that perfect plant or piece that fills you and your garden with delight. It's always a beautiful day at Garland Nursery.
I'm down here at Bauman Farms up with Christine. And Christine, we are in front of your cidery, and there's some exciting things going on.
There are exciting things. We're expanding, putting in more tanks to make more cider.
And there, you know, next weekend is GardenPalooza down here at Bauman Farms, and you can sample all sorts of these great ciders.
Yes, including our new boysenberry lemonade. It's our spring seasonal for now, and we've got a couple things in tanks you might be able to try.
And this is delicious, by the way.
Thank you very much.
And you have an award-winning one.
We've got some award winners. We won with our Macintosh this year, and our Porter's Perfection. A lot of our small batches won.
So make sure you come down here to GardenPalooza down here at Bauman Farms next Saturday the 9th and sample some amazing ciders.
Thank you.
I'm at Cider Nursery with Brian, and Brian, it's springtime, we talk about color, but I think this is great that we're talking about things that have color all year long.
That's what's nice about the dwarf conifers or any kind of conifers. They're usually saying something throughout the year, whether it's the fall or the winter, golden foliage, bright blue. They're always pretty attractive and trying to show their significance out there on the
Definitely.
landscapes.
This one is a showstopper. What's this?
That is it's going to be Chief Joseph. It's in the, what would you call it, the lodgepole pine family.
Native plant?
Yes, found right here in, I believe it was at Mount, probably right here in Bend, Oregon area. I don't know exactly, but yeah, right here in Oregon. So it's one of our own.
But what's so cool, look at how gold it is, but it doesn't stay like that, does it?
That's right. So I think it has to do with the cold. So, and that's what, when whoever found it, was like this bright golden attraction. And went right to it and got it named, and there's the story. It's really quite a story right here in Oregon.
It looks like you have two different plants, because in summer it's dark green. So what a cool change within one plant.
So it's going to be a lot like your lodgepole pine, that nice green, and then but the wintertime it's one of a kind there.
Beautiful. And then this one, I know you guys are famous for bonsai, but it really kind of grows very contorted.
Yeah, these are actually two Japanese white pine varieties, one with irregularness, I guess you could say. It just has a habit of on its own, so you don't really have to prune too much. It's going to have its own style. Just let it grow. You can see like 4 to 6 inches of top growth and 2 to 3, 4 on the sides. So it really isn't going to get out of hand.
And I'm going to read this. It's called Fukusumi.
Yep,
so
that's
very
correct.
Beautiful name.
Yes.
And then what about the smaller one?
Another Japanese white pine. This is just a nice little dwarf. It's going to be more like a mugo pine, actually, like a shrub effect. Again, you don't have to prune it. Little 2 inches of growth at the most on the top. But it does have a really nice, it has the Japanese white pine effect. It's got that bluish, silverish needle. Really tight growing. Kind of new for us. We're kind of excited, but yes, it would be for the bonsai enthusiasts. It'd be right there if you just go in and look for it. You have all your branches and ready to go. Small needle, always a plus when you're doing some bonsai with
and this one's called Catherine Elizabeth.
Yes.
And then this one is totally different, a really tiny, tiny needle.
Again, another newer one for us here. It's a Cryptomeria, Golden Promise. I believe this is 4 to 6 foot tall. It's only going to have like 2 to 3 inches of growth. So it really, over many years it might get bigger, but I would say right around as an intermediate shrub, 3 to 4
It's nice you don't have to worry about pruning, because people are so afraid of pruning. So it's nice that it stays nice and compact.
That's right. Some of these, they actually feel like they have teeth. It's like they're so prickly. But this one really soft, and it does. The Golden Promise name would probably come in the summer after the new growth. It would have that yellow gold effect on there for the new growth. Yeah.
And what about this last one?
This last one, Korean fir. Becoming really popular here, are demanded, and of course there's never enough around, but it's hard to find them, but a big demand. And that's just this one right in front of us is it's a dwarf one. It really has no tree effect on it. It's going to be more like you can see about 1 to 2 inches of growth. So it's very compact, and but just it's got that that nice
silver.
Yeah, it's kind of like there's several other ones in the Korean fir that have that silver in there. Like all firs, their cone would be on the upright.
Right, they grow on top.
Yeah, they do. So it's kind of an attraction.
Well, this is just a small selection of all the conifers that Cider Nursery has right now. And you need those focal points in your garden or even in a container. So come on up to Woodland, talk to Brian and his staff. I just love these conifers this time of year. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you, Judy.
Color, color, color. When you think of your garden, think of color. Then think of Margie's Farm and Garden. High quality plants and great customer service are our trademark. We make sure you're happy with every purchase. Whether you're a first-time gardener or a seasoned professional, we'll help you be successful every time you step into your garden. Vegetables or herbs, hanging baskets or perennials, trust Margie's Farm and Garden, just off I-5 near Aurora.
Since 1929, Grimm's Fuel has powered great gardens around our area. With our comprehensive composting and yard debris services, we can apply quality garden mulch, compost, and blended soils with our experienced crews and trucks, including our landscape rock and bark products as well. We are proud of our industry-leading state-of-the-art composting facilities. We also can take care of your fuel oil and firewood needs. Grimm's Fuel, building great gardens since 1929.
Find everything you need for spring at Al's Garden and Home.
You work hard in the garden. Shouldn't your gloves do the same? Garden Like a Girl makes gloves and apparel from natural, recycled, and organic materials. Garden Like a Girl gloves will help you tackle any job. They are designed to fit, protect your hands and nails, and they last. Plus, 10% of our profits go to cancer research. To learn more about Garden Like a Girl products, go to our website, gardenlikeagirl.com. Garden Like a Girl, ruggedly feminine.
Hey everybody, Brian Bauman from Bauman's Farm and Garden. We're in the berry field today because everything is starting to wake up, which means it's the perfect time for you to plant berries in your own home or garden. We have a great selection right now, from blackberries like Triple Crown and of course everybody's favorite Marion berries. One thing to remember though, blackberries produce on second-year canes, which means we're gonna grow big, beautiful canes this summer, we're gonna raise them up on a trellis, and that's what's gonna give us berries the following summer. Raspberries are a little different. This is heritage. Again, they produce on second-year canes, but raspberries can be more of a bush. You don't need a trellis. This is heritage, which is one of my favorite varieties because you get 2 seasons of fruit, once in the spring and again in the fall. So when you plant them, use Biotone. Get those roots started, follow it up a little bit later with some berry tone to get those nice big canes for lots of fruit. We have all of these right now at the farm, and now is the perfect time to plant them. Come on out. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Well, it's late winter, early spring, and for those of us that grow our own citrus, we know that it's coming on. And so we've been out harvesting, and this is our Meyer lemon tree. So we had kind of a bumper crop this winter. We've had 30 to 40 Meyer lemons on our tree out in the greenhouse. And so now that they're ripe, we are going to make limoncello.
And so a few years ago, we did this recipe and we learned something very important, that when you peel it, you don't want a lot of this white substance, which is the pith of the fruit. You want as much of the yellow part, which has all the oils and all the flavors that you're gonna need for your limoncello. And so I'm using just a regular vegetable peeler, and I'm trying not to dig in too much, and I'm gonna just be peeling that yellow part that we're going to be using in our limoncello, and I'm going to be using this on 4 lemons. And Ryan?
And I'm going to use the other 4 because we use 8 lemons per quart. So while Julie's peeling hers, I'm going to zest the other 4. So I'm just going to kind of use our little zester, and also be careful not to go too deep. We want it kind of this lighter color here and not into that white, because we don't want all of the pith in there to make it bitter. So we're just going to zest up these other 4 here. So we're going to finish our 4 lemons each, and then we'll be right back.
So I'm finished peeling my 4th lemon, and how'd you do?
And I've finished zesting mine here, so I'm going to start adding this in. We used the Meyer lemon, and so you can buy, if you're not growing your own, you could do this from lemons that you purchase at the store, but you do want to make sure that they usually come with like a little waxy coating. You want to make sure you use a lot of hot water beforehand to kind of melt that waxy coating off.
And we also will use the juice from these lemons, and that's what we have in this glass here. And we're going to use an ice cube tray to freeze the lemon juice in little portions, because it's much easier to bake with when we're ready for that.
So now we're going to take our quart canning jar here, and we're going to first add in all of our zest into the jar.
It smells so nice, doesn't it?
It smells great. And then after we get the zest in there, then we'll add our peels to it.
And it's really pretty. It's so colorful. All right, right, you ready?
Yep, so now we got our zest and our peels in there, and then we're gonna add our vodka. You know, in the vodka you could use, you know, whichever your preference is from the liquor store. You know, you can use a cheap vodka if you want to, or whatever's on sale, or you can use, you know, top shelf. But, you know, we're just using kind of a middle of the road vodka here. And we are just gonna fill up that jar, just kind of, not all the way to the top. We'll leave a little bit of room in there. Right up to about there.
All right, I'm gonna just cover it and tighten that.
And now that the jar is all totally done, this is one we did a couple weeks ago. So after you got it all set up, sit it on a windowsill or on a kitchen counter. And every couple days or so, we just want to give it a little shake like this, just to kind of make sure everything's incorporated. Then after about a couple weeks, we got one more step we need to do. So now it's been a couple weeks. You can see the difference between the one we just did and the one that's been sitting for a couple weeks. This one's a little bit darker, and this just sucked in all of those oils from the lemons. So we're gonna take this, we're gonna open our jar, and then we're just gonna strain this into our big bowl right here. So I'm doing that, dumping it in there. I'm gonna take my little spoon and just kind of press all of the yumminess out of there. And then we'll just move this off to the side.
And so now the next step is to add the simple syrup. So simple syrup is just a really easy recipe. It's usually 4 cups of water and 4 cups of sugar, and then you reduce it down until the sugar is all dissolved. Well, we like our limoncello just a little bit less sweet, so we used only 3 cups of sugar. So I have that all ready to go here. We've already boiled it down. And so I'm gonna add it to the vodka mixture right there. So that's almost 4 cups, and I'm just gonna add just a little bit more. And now I'm gonna combine it all. Just give it some stirs. And oh, that looks really good. And it smells really nice too.
We're using equal parts of the simple syrup to our vodka mixture. So we had this quart jar that had 4 cups of vodka in there, and then you're adding your 4 cups of your simple syrup.
Right, so then that is the recipe, and it's really an easy recipe. And now we're gonna just add the limoncello into this really pretty bottle. And just because we wanna maybe leave this on our counter, or we can put it in the fridge, because of the alcohol content, you don't have to worry about it spoiling, so you can leave it on the counter. But we like to leave it in the fridge or even in the freezer, because limoncello is really great when it's ice cold.
So Judy, you almost full?
That bottle is topped off now.
I don't think we're quite full yet.
Ah, so you want a taster.
So if you grow your own lemons or virtually any other citrus at home, this is a great, easy recipe to do that you can enjoy all summer long. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you for watching Garden Time today. And don't forget, GardenPalooza is at Bauman's Farm and Garden next week on Saturday, April 9th from 8 to 3. Hey Ryan, what's that over there?
There might be a little bit of Bauman cider that you might be able to taste when you're out here for GardenPalooza.
Excellent.
You know, for more information on today's show or any of our other episodes, go to GardenTime.tv. Judy and I thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week on Garden Time.
GardenPalooza is back. Join us on April 9th at our new location at Bauman's Farm and Garden. See over 30 plant growers and garden vendors. There's free parking and free admission. GardenPalooza, Saturday, April 9th at Bauman's Farm and Garden in Woodburn. The proceeding was a paid program of the Guston Creative Group and its sponsors.